Welcome to the Northern Business Podcast. Each week we talk to people active in the business community and the economy about big issues driving growth in the north of England. We're sponsored by Virtue Motors, one of the UK's largest motor retailers. Check out its website at virtuemotors.com. I'm Graham Robb, owner of Recognition PR. We help scores of businesses promote their products and services, and some are featured on this podcast. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. In the studio today, we have Gary Giles, founder of OGEL, one of the UK's leading eco-friendly building specialists. They've been featured on BBC Two's Your Home Made Perfect, and they made a successful pitch, on Dragon's Den. Down the line, we have Naomi Timperley. Now, Naomi is the Innovation Director at the Merseyway Innovation Centre. And later, my colleague Josh will be talking to the Chief Executive of the Materials Processing Institute, Chris McDonald. And he'll be talking about something innovative as well, the new electric arc furnace that's going to be located on Teesside. So a lot of innovation to talk about.
Indeed,
Gary.
Indeed.
Naomi, I'm going to kick off with you, if that's all right. Tell us about the Innovation Centre at Merseyside. What does it do? What's it all about?
Okay, so the Innovation Centre, this is a brand new Innovation Centre actually, but it's part of Innovate Stockport. So it was designed specifically for ambitious startups and entrepreneurs in Stockport. It's located in a former retail unit right in the heart of the town centre, and it's a place to work and collaborate. My role as Innovation Director is to support the businesses that come in, so I'm here one day a week. When I'm not doing this, I am a freelance growth and innovation consultant. And fun fact about Naomi, I went on Dragon's Den in 2008.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
Well, here's a fun fact. This all links up. I'm glad we've got something in common. My firm, and Recognition's very proud, we still represent Duncan Bannatyne. And and Duncan was one of the original dragons.
Yes, cool.
And now,
He was on when I was on.
I dared ask you, but go on, just for fun. What did you pitch and what did Duncan say? My friend Duncan, he didn't give you a hard time, did he?
Right. Well, he's not my friend, put it that way.
My God. I always know.
Yeah.
Can I have I just want a glass of water to wash down
with
my foot.
an American events company.
Yes.
That I had. So I had went on with my American business partner, and we were in the den for an hour and 45 minutes. It was when it was filmed at Pinewood Studios. It was very exciting because Anthony Hopkins was filming at the same time, and he was doing this film called Wolfman. So there's loads of people dressed up as wolves, and it was terrifying to do it. But we got offered investment by Deborah Meaden, but we turned her down.
Oh well, you got offered investment, so that's good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. It was great, and Deborah was absolutely lovely. But your mate, what's his face, don't like him.
Oh, I'll pass on your love and affection. Very pleased. Right, okay. Let's get back to Merseyway Innovation Centre. Now, you obviously in this tech and innovation field, you just explained there, Naomi. The average age of digital tech employees is quite young, 35. How do you think we encourage older workers to embrace the sort of new digital tech skills that are coming into the workforce?
It's interesting that you say this. So I am at the ripe old age of 52, even though I identify as 42. And I think there are more than 2 million people that now work in UK tech. And that was based on TIA's State of the Tech Workforce report in 2022. So they had they talked about the fact that contributing, those 2 million people contribute 82.6 billion to the UK economy. In my opinion, so I was announced as the fourth most influential woman in UK tech by Computer Weekly in last month. And I would say out of the 50 women, out of hundreds and hundreds of people that were put forward, a lot of them are actually in their 40s and 50s. So, I think there's a big thing around upskilling people. There's definitely, people now don't have linear careers. So my first career was in the travel sector. I then worked in tech recruitment, then travel recruitment, and then had an events company, and then sort of going into the space that I'm in now. So I predominantly work with tech startups and scale-ups. And yes, you do see a lot of very young people, but I still think one of the biggest things that is actually the fact that there's only 17% of women that work in tech roles.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a famous photograph, isn't there, about the toilets at the convention of tech people and the queue.
And I think despite women accounting for 49% of the working population, that is still a problem. But I do think there is lots of people now that are transferring skills from other job roles and going into the tech sector. And just one more point is that actually most people have this misconception that the tech sector is just about coding. It's not. There are a plethora of different roles for everybody in this sector, no matter how old you are.
No, I agree.
Or young.
I don't disagree, but I'm 60 next year, and I constantly challenge myself to keep myself.
You don't look a day over 42.
You're very good. I'm trying to get you. That's a very kind of you. And I am trying to do what you're saying. To try and have a journey in my professional life so that I keep up to it. And attitudes among different people in the workforce are somewhat different. But there's a lot. My own firm has just engaged a consultant to roll out an AI strategy, which I'm going to be talking to all my team about. And I don't know to what extent the younger people will embrace it more than the older people, but I'm fully up for it, and we'll see.
I'm all over it like a rash.
Yeah, excellent. Now, let's look at the number of startups. There was a record number of business startups at the beginning of this year. It was a real peak. Is technology helping drive those startups, do you think? Is that at the heart of business growth in Britain?
Do you know what? I've got some stats about this, actually. Interestingly, according to Startups 100 2023, their industry data around startups, 56.5% of those startups were technology. So 18.8%, which is very high. But I think what we do need to consider is actually most businesses are enabled by technology.
Yeah. So you've got to talk about interrupting the data. Let's have the data. We love it.
Yeah. And then, also there are sort of other things to, maybe consider as well. Again, just talking about women, because I am a woman, is that actually there was quite an increase in actually women starting businesses as well.
Right. And what was the 18%?
So sorry, the going back to the 56.5% is technology, 18% is lifestyle businesses, 7% retail hospitality, education 5.9%, and then 11% everything else.
Right, excellent. Now, you were just saying, and I think it's worth just picking up on before we go to Gary.
Yeah.
And that was that technology enables all businesses. Now, I think that's
yes,
right.
Of course.
There's been I think we're beyond the sort of bricks and mortar versus clicks and mortar thing now. A business doesn't allow you to click and collect, or doesn't allow you to delivery at the same time as having a good premises isn't going to work. But
no.
Do you think that that adaptation is actually now working in Britain? Are we ahead of the curve? Are you seeing in the northwest, in Stockport, smaller businesses adopting quickly?
I think digital transformation comes into this, so people can work smarter. But I also think there is definitely a need for the bricks and mortar businesses. So, there is in Stockport where we are, there is a town centre that has evolved massively, and we're actually getting businesses coming from the Manchester city centre into Stockport because actually the rent's cheaper, the rates are cheaper, but they still got those customers. So, I think this is about, yes, businesses are enabled by digital, but it's also, they need to work smarter and use technology to help them. But it's just knowing that. And again, I think people have this misconception that it's always young people that know about tech. But actually, I know loads of people who are our age who are ahead of the curve, because they sucking it all in. And you're seeing, I think it depends on what sort of sectors you work in. Because I am working predominantly with tech businesses, I have to know what's going on.
Let's bring Gary in. Gary, you're listening today.
I am actually, yeah.
You've set up a business. Talk about your products in a minute. What do you make of what she was saying? We're all a similar age, I suppose.
Yes, I suppose we are. Yes, what's the phrase they use these days? Is it great entrepreneurs or great entrepreneurs?
Great entrepreneurs.
Great entrepreneurs. Great. Yeah. Well, mine's still the highlights, you know. But, yeah.
So you have clearly you've got a business that's running out of Stockton-on-Tees.
Yep.
When these northern towns, Stockton, Darlington, Stockport, are definitely coming up a little bit as places that you can locate and run your business, and you don't have to be in the city. You
know what I think it is, Graham? If I'm being honest, I think a big factor is people have now realised that, you know something, living and working, more probably working in a big city, do you need to do it anymore? Sort of, I mean, obviously a lot of our products are garden rooms, garden offices. People are working from home all of a sudden. I mean, let's be honest. The phrase hybrid worker didn't exist 3 years ago. Yeah. It's now like sort of become. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine who was in recruitment, who sort of said, well, you know, it's almost the first question is how much of my role is hybrid. You didn't have that question even 2 years ago.
Well, it's a very good segue into your product.
Yes, indeed.
There are people listening, so you're going to have to use a description as well as the video. So if you could show us what this product is and do us a mini Dragon's Den.
I'll do you a mini Dragon's Den, okay? So the whole world is built in blocks, which are six-sided shapes. Mm-hmm. We build in L shapes, for want of a better word. And what we do is we take two L shapes, like that, which if you can't see if you're listening, unfortunately, and we tessellate one round to make a block shape.
And now I'm seeing a rectangular cube.
And looking at a rectangular cube, and then we build that on the foundation, and then we just effectively start building.
Now these cubes,
like this,
for people listening, are made of flat pieces of composite material.
Correct.
And they are about the size, a little bit bigger than a house brick.
Yes.
Now this composite material is now linking in to make a wall.
Correct.
And this wall
is a double-skinned wall, as you would sort of build traditionally.
And I'll turn for the people watching, turn the profile of this piece of kit round. You can see the wall and how it looks as a cutaway.
Yeah.
And you can see it's a hollow wall made out of things that look like nice kitchen top surfaces.
They are, but it's actually waste polystyrene. It's the bits of car, bits of flower pot, the inside lining of fridges and freezers.
All right.
The white polystyrene goods that your sort of cooker or whatever will arrive, which is then sort of taken away.
And so all this waste gets
the whole thing.
Does it get pulverized? Does it get pressurized? What happens?
Effectively, what happens is it gets sort of, depending on the source of the material, it gets crushed into a denser shape, effectively, because what you sort of see as white polystyrene is, everybody thinks it's polystyrene. It's actually only 5% polystyrene, 95% air. So by crushing it and pulverizing it, what you're doing is taking the air out of it, or most of the air out of it. Then you're shredding it, and then you're making a series of extruded pieces, which we have what we call a horizontal, and a horizontal and a vertical.
That's how you make, and these all put together to form hollow building material.
A hollow L shape.
Yeah.
And then by sort of putting those two L shapes together is what makes our, I won't say block because we don't make blocks effectively. Sort of what we do is we make a course.
Right.
And then what we then do is by using mitered joints, we form corners. Mm-hmm. And then by sort of joining the corners together,
you form walls.
We form walls.
And
correct.
We're going to flash on screen pictures of things like garden rooms.
Yep.
Where people can work from home. And the segue when you're talking about hybrid working.
Yep.
You can create rooms for your garden is one use, but there are other building uses.
Yeah, I mean, it was originally invented as a flood defence system and still works as that. But when we looked at the route to market, bear in mind we started developing this prior to the whole COVID-19 pandemic. That was our original thought. Then all of a sudden it was, well, hang on, we can make corners out of this thing. So why are we sort of going down the flood defence system when we can be sort of going for the garden room system?
Right. Now, so you're now selling kit form.
Yep.
Garden rooms.
Yes, we haven't launched it as kit form. At the minute, we're still assembling,
right.
and are also looking for teams of people to assemble them on our behalf. Because what we do is we have the patent for this, which which is it's patented UK, most of Europe, USA, and China. So the plan is that to license it in foreign markets, and then in the UK market to then reach sort of further parts of the country rather than just the north by licensing on the same basis as you would sort of or have installers in various areas.
Okay. So, but people can buy it and you'll deliver it and you'll install it.
And we'll build it.
You have to have a bespoke price depending on where they are.
Correct, yeah. I mean, we sort of, at the minute, obviously sort of our teams are going out and building, but the idea is that eventually, you know, why jump in the car or jump in the van and drive down to Aldershot, which we did last week. Yeah. You know, sort of it makes more sense to have a team in Aldershot building them down there, you know, and we will simply manufacture, put them on a pallet, because one of the beautiful things is, which unfortunately if you are listening you can't see it, is it packs away to 1/5 of its build size.
Yes. Now, so you went on Dragon's Den. You asked for £100,000, 10%.
No, we asked for £50,000 for 5%.
Right.
And
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and then and then we got offered 50,000 for 10%.
Right. So you notionally accepted that.
Yes.
Then what happened?
Then it went to the whole due diligence process, and without being too what's the word? Which I'm sure Naomi's smiling because she knows what's coming now. It was decided by both parties, should we sort of say, not to follow on in the whole due diligence process.
You slept on it.
We slept on it, yes. I mean, sort of the main reason for going on the programme was always going to be the whole experience of going on there and the exposure to a great
and
market.
And forming your pitch as well. These things, you concentrate the mind when you're asking.
It's great,
money, don't you? You concentrate the mind.
I mean, it's a fantastic process. As Naomi sort of said there, I mean, so we were in for not far short of 2 hours, you know, which is then cut down into a 10-15 minute sort of piece on TV.
But here's the interesting final flourish.
Yeah.
And that is that you did actually get investment by going a different route.
Yes.
Tell us how much you got and what percentage.
Yes. What we sort of decided was, as the programme sort of launched, we decided to, we knew that we weren't going to proceed with the Dragons. So what we did was we sort of looked at crowdfunding, which is obviously quite, I won't say innovative, but it's something that's been quite prevalent over the past probably sort of 5-6 years. It's become much more relevant, and then we sort of went through that process so that when the programme went out on the TV, we effectively launched our crowdfunding campaign, and rather than get 50,000 for 10% from the Dragons, we got 250,000 for 10% from the crowd.
So it's worth 2.5 million, that business.
There you go.
Results. That's fantastic. Naomi, what do you make of that? You're running you're working with this innovation centre in Merseyway, or the Merseyway Centre. Is this the kind of you'll have people like Gary who are over there, won't you?
Yeah, with loads of conversations. So this is like the centre is actually very new. So you know, we've come from it's a brand new space. So it's funded by ERDF, the council, the Arts Council England, and the Northern Powerhouse Fund. But I come across like I'm desperate to have a conversation actually off record just about your Dragon's Den experience, but also as well just thinking about the different uses. So we've got a tenant here, for example, who runs a homeless charity, and one of the things that he's looking at doing is a project to develop modular housing, like tiny houses. He could use your stuff.
That's exactly it. So,
yeah.
And you're a great connector, Naomi. I like to see made on my podcast.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll catch up afterwards. Definitely, Naomi.
We'll catch up afterwards. Yeah. Well, look, Naomi and Gary, thank you for coming on the programme. And I just, for viewers and listeners that are in the north of England who are looking for a place to locate, Stockport is a thriving town. It's humming over there.
Is. Stockport's where it's happening.
And you can get relatively soft terms for tenancy, can you?
Yeah.
Is it relatively easy?
We have co-working, we have shared offices, we have individual offices. It's somewhere that you can sort of grow and swap and change. We also have a series of events, we have workshops, so it's brilliant. I'm absolutely loving my time there.
If you're looking for someone to locate your business and you're not in Stockport, then get in touch with Gary.
I'll come do it somewhere.
You can have something built in your back garden.
Well, we have Oxford Innovation actually have 31 innovation centres across the UK.
Right.
Great.
Interesting.
Well, thank you, Naomi.
Anywhere.
Thank you, Gary. We're going to take
Cheers.
us to another type of innovation now. We're going to go over to my colleague, Josh Havigan. He's been speaking with Chris McDonald, Chief Executive at the Materials Processing Institute.
Thank you, Graham. Today I'm at the Materials Processing Institute in South Park in Middlesbrough. I've been speaking with Chris McDonald, who's the Chief Executive, about British Steel's new announcement of a brand new electric arc furnace that's going to be built just down the road here in Teesside. What does that mean for steelmaking in the UK? Let's find out.
So British Steel have announced that they want to go green in their steelmaking, and to do that they're going to close their blast furnaces that are based in Scunthorpe and split their steel production in two, with one big electric arc furnace in Scunthorpe and one here in Teesside. And clearly that's really great news for Teesside. We see the return of steelmaking here, but there are consequences for the workforce in Scunthorpe as well, which is a big concern because potentially some big job losses in Scunthorpe.
Did steelmaking never really leave Teesside?
Well, you know, it didn't really, because right behind me here at the Materials Processing Institute, we've got our own small-scale electric arc furnace, and we use it for research, but we also use it for commercial steelmaking. So we've kept the flame of steelmaking alive here in Teesside for the last 8 years, and we're delighted that our little steel plant will have a big brother next door in the very near future.
So can you explain in layman's terms how an electric arc furnace works?
So an electric arc furnace is like a sort of giant lightning storm taking place inside this massive reactor. We put scrap steel inside, we charge it up with a lot of electrical power, and the lightning melts the scrap steel so it becomes liquid steel, and we can do lots of processing on it to turn it into steel. One of the things we can't do though with the electric arc furnace is make steel from iron ore. That's what some people call primary steel making. So what I'm looking for in this announcement from British Steel and from Tata Steel as well is a national plan to return primary steel making to the UK.
That was Chris McDonald, Chief Executive of the Materials Processing Institute. He was giving us the on-the-ground response from industry in Teesside to that latest announcement from British Steel. Let's go back to Graham.
Thanks, Josh. Now, if you'd like to join us as a guest on the Northern Business Podcast, please feel free to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks to my producer, Harry Sinclair, and my technical operator, Robin Campbell. Join us next time for the Northern Business Podcast. Never miss an episode. Like, rate, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.